Yeah, I told the producer at the Friday Beers, I said, I got a 10 decibel handicap. And they loved it.
And they loved that.
Yeah, they could tell already about the way I talk. And some people may notice today that the way I talk sounds a little different because I am depressed. I'm having a few allergies, and I stayed out late last night.
Tom's touching the computer, and he's either checking in on his RuneScape account or something happened.
Well, it's saying it's only recording my audio. Yeah.
That sucks fucking shit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
God damn it.
Welcome to Goober Time with Dr. Chris Chismore, hosted by Tom and Griffin.
We are your hosts, Tom and Griffin.
Unfortunately, our illustrious friend, Dr. Chris Chismore, is away on his important research and unable to host a podcast this week.
But fear not, dear listener, because he has left us in charge, and we are going to try to do a really good job of a podcast.
This week, Dr. Chismore has asked us to talk about
pets. Okay, now we're back in business.
I don't know. Is it recording me this time? It looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like it.
It is. Sorry I was so far away from the microphone previously, if we end up using that clip. But if we don't use it, then you don't know what I'm talking about, and we have to redo it, how the podcast starts.
Yeah. So I was saying how people may notice that I sound a little bit different this week. And it's because...
And then I made a joke that it's because Tom is depressed.
Yeah. That I'm depressed, but actually I'm just having a little bit of allergies.
And just imagine this, dear reader. And then so earlier when we did this, I accidentally said dear reader. And so you'll find that that's maybe that's a fun, it's like a fun reader thing I found earlier.
Yeah. So imagine this, dear reader.
Your eyes are a little bit weepy.
Yeah. Your nose a little sniffly.
Your skin feels itchy.
Yeah, and you're sitting in you're in your own house, and you say, "This is supposed to be a place of comfort.
This isn't how I ought to be living. What's occurred? Dust?
Dust?
Perhaps?
No. I keep my house clean. I vacuum. I bought a Dyson.
I just paid about to make a bad joke. Never mind.
I just paid someone to clean my house.
There you go.
And then you think what else could it be? Are there bugs? No. There's nothing that would attract pests in here.
And then you turn. Let's say you've been standing in maybe the kitchen.
You
Should we make sure we know where we are in the apartment real quick?
Yeah, I was thinking we're in the living room.
Okay, we're in a living room of a home or an apartment.
I don't think it matters here.
Okay,
I think that whichever our dear readers live inside.
I love specifics, and I think they're going to like some specifics too if we're going to really set this up.
Okay, your condominium.
Oh.
You're in a condominium.
Which is like, if you don't know, that's like an apartment that you own.
Yes. It's an apartment that you own because you've worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
You've worked hard, but the interest rates are really high right now.
Right.
So it's tough to buy a full-on home.
You don't have a yard. And boy, are you about to wish you did.
Yes, because you stand up and you look around and you realize that the cause of your allergies is because you have a little animal in your house.
My God.
You see there's an animal and it's asleep. Is it dead? Is it dead? No, it's just asleep.
It's napping on a bed that you realize you've purchased.
Yeah.
And there's food near it. And that's not your food, is it?
No. It's food for this animal that...
This strange...
Yeah.
Because it turns out, dear reader, you have... a pet. Harp music plays.
Harp music plays. So yes, we got feedback. Chris Chismore, the illustrious Dr. Chris Chismore, gave us some feedback. He asked us to talk about pets this week. And why do you think that is, Griffin?
And he asked for some harp music.
Yes, and some more harp music.
Which, just in case we can't find any on the internet, how does that sound, Tom? That's exactly right. And then maybe a glissando. What were we talking about?
I asked why you think Dr. Chris Chismore might have chosen the subject of pets for this week.
Well, because who doesn't love a good pet? But also, who just recently acquired a pet?
Yes.
And the answer is me.
The answer is Griffin.
And also Tom has one as well.
Yes, I have a pet too.
Is that what you were thinking he was? Why?
Yeah, I was thinking less of just because I have one. I mean, I've had one for close to 3 years, but
Sure.
I was thinking more of because you just acquired a pet.
I found a kitten. I shouldn't say I'll say, damn, and we haven't even talked about this. The woman I've been seeing, and I found a kitten. If she hears this, she's going to be upset. Not upset, but she'll come at me for saying I found a cat as if I did it by myself.
Yeah.
It was by her car. Her dogs were there. And in fact, she grabbed the kitten.
What did the dogs flip out?
We put the dogs in the car when I realized there was a kitten, and it was because he was meowing like crazy under a bush. And he wouldn't come out. He was kind of scared, and then put the dogs in the car, and she drove the car a block down. The dogs just were barking like crazy the whole time. And then I biked home, and I got some. Oh, she put out water, and he came to the water, but then she wasn't. You're scared to grab just a stray animal.
Yeah.
Who knows? Might bite you.
Yeah.
Could be any kind of way.
Could have rabies.
Right. Could have cat scratch fever.
Yeah.
If that's a thing.
Could be into Ted Nugent.
Could be a sort of a Ted Nugent fan, then that's a whole other situation you got to deal with.
Yeah.
That's a gun owner. That's a Trump supporting gun owner.
I do love Ted Nugent's music.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of those dudes where I'm like, it's really... he is such a scum. He is such the scum of the earth as a human being.
Right.
But damn, Great White Buffalo, and then a song, Wang Dang, Sweet Poontang. They rule. They're all good songs.
I'll say I've never heard of those songs. I've never heard of anybody who's a Ted Nugent fan.
Cat Scratch Fever.
Cat Scratch Fever is the only one I know.
Yeah.
And you were saying you feel the same way about Bill Cosby, right?
Yeah.
You still like to listen to himself and my brother Russell, whom I slept with. You said you have some favorite tracks off of those that you and Jordan listen to every night.
Yeah. I still like listening to Ted Nugent, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly. I like to listen to Harvey Weinstein too. I love listening to his old speeches.
But you won't listen to Aziz Ansari because you say what he did isn't bad enough.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
You said he was just bad at making out, or he kissed weird or something.
Yeah. And that to me isn't not bad enough.
That's not bad enough
to enjoy his music. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So the cat. You found the cat. It came out for the water.
She whiffed on him one time, and then I was getting deeper and deeper into the bush, and it was really kind of gnarly and nasty smelling in there. College kids throwing massive White Claws in there. He was, or maybe the kitten himself. He was surrounded by maybe 4 or 5 like 24-ounce White Claw cans, and so maybe he was having a good time. But then I went home and got a can of tuna fish and brought it back, and then she threw some tuna fish in there, and he eventually, I couldn't see it because I was on the other side of the bush, but he came to her. And then I took him in the car. She took the dogs out of the car. We swapped the animals. I took him to my house. My house is closest. Then I biked back. No, then I came back with the car and picked her up, and he's been at my house ever since.
Wow, a lot of swapping going on there.
I don't know why I felt like I needed to explain every piece of the logistics there, but it was kind of in the moment... In the moment of me deciding to talk about it, it seemed important.
Yeah. And now you have a cat. Now
I have
a cat owner.
A kitten. Name TBD. What are we're working on? We got Skunk. Skunk Duncan seems to be quite a popular front runner.
Yeah.
Monkey or Monkey Brains. Monkey's really fun. It's the double name, not the double name. The two syllables I'm finding is kind of nice to say.
Yeah, you want a 2-syllable or less name, they say, for pets.
Or less, yeah. I see.
Or at least for dogs. They say to have a 2-syllable or less name for dogs because it's easier for dogs to remember sounds that are like short like that.
Right.
If you give your dog like a 3-syllable, 4-syllable plus name, then they may not know. It may take them a longer time to understand that like that's their name. I was
gonna say that's how, according to the Freakonomics guys, I think they said at some point that like, is it Chinese characters or Chinese numbers are like quite short, and so they're easier to learn and faster to recall, and so like this contributes to like why like Chinese people or China has like more mathematicians or something is better at math. This like common stereotype. But I just remember that I think that was a Freakonomics thing. Like this is why that happens. That's an insane stereotype to try to like go in on and be like,
yeah.
Let's try to prove it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to try to somehow connect it to the dog.
And also reveals that, you're likening Chinese people to dogs.
Which I love. which I love. If I could have one, I would.
Yeah,
a dog.
I mean, that is very interesting. I think that, it sounds like a very podcast, especially Freakonomics type, theory or like discovery. But
the joke I was going to try to make is about how dogs are good at math. And again, in retrospect, actually immediately, you heard me falter. I knew it was bad.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking by my previous assumption that what I was about to say was bad, even though I did then go through with telling you about it and explaining it.
Yeah, then that's the second bad joke, where you stop yourself from making a bad joke. About
I was going to say that you were
getting your house cleaned.
You're paying a wage slave to clean your house.
Yeah.
Likely, they're underpaid, but then I'm thinking a little slow.
That's okay. The main point I wanted to draw from this is that now you own a cat and you have always you really only like dogs.
Kind of a dog guy. Yeah. Originally a cat guy, I'd say, but yes.
Well, the last cat you lived with, you said you didn't like. You would complain about him.
Yeah, because he was all up in my shit. He was getting in my business every day.
I liked him.
Yeah, he was like a dog. He just wasn't mine. And he's big and fat.
He was fat, which is awesome.
I think because he wasn't my cat, I was kind of like, don't care. You're kind of nosy. Get out of here. Putting his face in my junk.
Yeah, he really liked it when you rubbed his belly, which is crazy because cats don't normally like that.
Construction going on under us.
Yeah, that's what my wife just got home from the grocery store, and I also have a pet that I said. So you may hear him clanging around. Monkey brains.
Dog
you
guy.
said
monkey brains. What else do we have?
Names.
Frog's nice. Bug.
Paint something.
Oh, Paint Douglas.
Paint Douglas. Yeah.
Paint Douglas. Here's the thing: is like these all sound really fun to me to say, and then I try saying them to him, and they feel strange. It feels strange to be like, "Come here, Paint."
Yeah.
It's like, I don't. Am I going to live the next 13 years of my life doing that? However long this fucker lives.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to commit to that, and now I'm kind of in my head about it.
Yeah, whereas like skunk, monkey brains is like kind of those are more like you're more comfortable calling a cat a little kitty those names rather than like Paint Douglas.
Paint Douglas. Well, and then what I've heard, Tom, recently, because people are coming out of the woodworks.
Yeah,
I'll say mostly women are coming out of the woodwork to talk to me about the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Want to come see the cat. And what I'm hearing is that cats have many names.
Yes, that's very true.
So he could be all of them, but officially he's got to be one.
Yes, I think that people have a lot of names for their pets. You
for
have
instance,
the main name.
You guys have the main name
of Chef.
Right?
Chef
classic,
beautiful,
great name.
Yes.
And let's hear the backup names.
You call Donnie Chumbo.
Well, that's sort of my name. But
yeah. You called him Donnie Chumbo, and anytime you would enter the room, you'd yell Donnie Chumbo. And then he, instead of thinking that was his name, he started thinking that was your name.
Right.
Or just, I think the way dogs think of names is that they're like a command for like, go crazy.
Yeah.
So like he associated Donnie Chumbo with the idea that someone is at the door and it's time to play and go wild. So anytime he hears Donnie Chumbo in a certain tone, he goes fucking nuts.
That's awesome.
And he barks
a
lot.
What are some other names y'all call him?
A puppy. I just call him Puppy a lot.
Puppy's good.
Yeah, Puppy. Sometimes I call him a little Rhombus. I'll say I will call him Wicked Pig if he's being bad because he's like kind of a wicked pig.
Wicked Pig.
Yeah,
Rhombus, I gotta say, is quite strange.
Yeah. You just make up stuff. I'm alone with the dog all day, every day, and so I make up little names.
You're just saying kind of weird stuff.
Yeah,
and you're not even thinking about it. It just comes out. Trapezoid, maybe sometime.
Yeah, trapezoid. I call him, a fatso.
Fatso, he's fat.
Yeah, he's
fat.
not like that fat, but he's like a thick dog. He's like 38 pounds. He's a tube.
He's a tube,
a fur tube.
First time I saw him, I didn't say. Wait, did I say he was Donnie Chumbo immediately? I think I said he was a lesbian stink hog.
Yeah, lesbian stink hog. Yeah, Chinese blowjob lizard. That's another thing that you call.
No, he was a Tibetan blowjob lizard.
Tibetan blowjob lizard. Sorry to the people.
Chinese government will be upset with you about that. About with me.
About Tibetan blowjob.
Tibetan blowjob lizard.
Also makes a wonderful pet. If you've never had a Tibetan blowjob lizard as a pet,
you're gonna want to get one. If you can find one for sale. Depending on the coloration, they can be very expensive.
Yeah.
But very, very good pet.
Very good, and you want to have the back teeth removed. You want to have that sucker defanged. As much like you can sometimes. I mean, declawing cats is bad, but
bad.
defanging your Tibetan blowjob lizard
Right.
is a good idea.
It is. Well, I'd say it's a necessity
It's a necessity.
because that lizard's going to be blowing your hog. So if you can find, I mean, again, it depends on which color. They come in colorways. Actually,
They come in color what?
colorways.
Colorways.
Yeah. So if you can find one with black and white diamonds, that's an expensive. Yeah, those ones go for a lot. Color change ones, the color morph ones, like those
mood rings.
like the mood rings, like there's like Teslas that have this. Those ones are expensive. Pink, nobody cares about.
A lot of scientists point to the Tibetan blowjob lizard as the proof that God exists and that nature's made for humans.
Kurt Vonnegut famously said, the only proof I need of God's existence is music. And Tom Fell says the only proof of God's existence I need is the Tibetan blowjob lizard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's almost ruined my marriage a few times. So the cat had many names. You said all these ladies. Now all the ladies are hitting you up via DM.
It turns out, I think,
all 20 women who follow Griffin.
It's women I know already. It's not just random women hitting me up. It's, all friends of the pod. But immediately want to come, talk to the cat, see the cat, play with the cat. I left my house. Our friend Emma came over the other day and was helping me bathe him. He needed another flea bath. And then some of our other friends were nearby in my neighborhood, and I had to leave. And I said, "Yeah, it's fine if they come by." And I'd realized on returning home, I'd left my roommate Marty. He was just in his room, and I came back, and there were just 3 women he doesn't really know, just in the apartment playing with a cat that just showed up yesterday. It's like, sorry, dude, I kind of wasn't thinking.
But the cat likes people, all right.
Loves people.
Okay, cool.
And this brings me to something I'll have to say that I do dislike about pets. It's boring to hear about other people's pets.
Yeah, I think so. I think unless the pet is in front of you.
Unless it's doing something in front of me.
Yeah, they're kind of like dreams of you don't want to hear about people's dreams unless you're in them. I don't really want to hear about your pet too much unless it's in front of me. You can show me 2 pictures and I'm like, that's cool that you have that type of animal. I think if it's a weird pet, I think if someone's like, I have a bearded dragon.
Sure, tell me what that's like.
I'm a little more interested.
I have questions about things I don't know about. Sure.
Yeah.
You have a dog. I don't need to hear stories about the dog unless they are quite the tale.
Yes.
I dated somebody in Chicago who would tell me all the time about her dog things the dog had done. I'd never met the dog. And it dawned on me that I hate this so much, and it's because I'm not only am I hearing about a stranger I've never met, I'm hearing about a stranger I've never met who doesn't speak English and has no capacity to.
Yeah.
On the chance that I meet this animal, I can't even. This is not an entity.
Here you go. Here's another anti-immigrant rant from Griffin Winsler. And the number one problem with them is that they don't speak English and they have no capacity to ever speak English. So then they are an animal to you.
Oh, interesting. So you think immigrants don't contain the capacity to learn English? Is what I'm learning about you.
I'm saying that's what you're saying.
No, that's what you're saying by implicitly by saying what I'm. That's what this just becomes us.
Well, you're saying this. I'm hearing about a stranger who doesn't even speak English and
has no capacity to. And you heard that and you thought, oh, he must be talking about immigrants.
I was just
welcome back to another episode of Racism Tennis. Tom and Griffin go back and forth.
Trying to pin each other in a racist corner.
I wonder if that's somehow that seems like a fun idea for a live show that you could do at the Hideout in Chicago in 2013.
Well, that was kind of the Z-Way thing, right? She'd interview people and try and pin them as racist. That's good. She did
successfully.
Yeah, successfully.
Is that still going?
I don't know. I think she got bigger stuff from that too.
Oh wow! And I'll say, I did watch that, and you're right. That is the concept, and I didn't really care for it. It felt bad. It felt like bullying.
Yeah, I think it feels uncomfortable when you're watching it because you don't know if the people know each other and like each other.
There is one because she was doing this on YouTube before this happened with Gary Richardson.
on
YouTube. Uh-huh. It's incredible. because he just absolutely turns it around on her, does not let her do it. He kind of says, I know what you're doing. I know you're fucking shit. You call your friends over here and you try to make them look like assholes. I'm not going to let you do that to me, Z-Way. And he is so funny. You've got to watch it.
I'll go check it out.
Dear reader, actually, this one goes to the listener. If you're listening, go watch that one.
If you're reading
it, sorry.
If you're reading the transcript on Apple or whatever podcast on thing, then yeah, you don't have to.
There's other stuff for you in this episode.
Yeah,
that's not one of them.
Yeah, because that's a video of people talking, and if you're reading a podcast, you're probably going to want to enjoy something a little thicker.
Oh yeah,
and on the page.
Just like a Tibetan blowjob lizard.
Yeah, thick Tibetan blowjob lizard.
I was going to say enjoy something thicker.
Oh, yeah.
Big, thick cock.
Jesus. We were talking about how it's boring to hear about other people's pets. I agree.
If you're going to get a pet, it cannot become your whole personality. You need to establish yourself in your community and in your field first.
Yes, exactly.
This is why scientists make good pet owners.
Mm-hmm. Because they establish themselves in their field.
And scarecrows.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah.
Tom hated that so much.
Yeah, some argue, their pets are the crows.
Oh, sure.
God, yeah.
I feel like I've exhausted you already.
Yeah. So, yes, it is boring to hear about other people's pets, and it is, it's tempting to want to talk about your pet a lot. But
if somebody asks, sure.
Yeah, if they're in front of you, I want to know all about it. Yeah,
If the pet's there,
yes.
Here's my big plan. There's a Spanish guy I found on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He has trained his cat Mia to kind of be an adventure cat, and she's doing tricks. He's pointing to his shoulder. She jumps up on his shoulder.
Yeah.
She jumps in the basket for the bike ride.
Yes.
And he's incredibly positive and happy to be telling you about how he's done this. And he has this beautiful voice and this beautiful Spanish accent. I feel like Antonio Banderas is telling me.
Yes. Yeah.
How he landed Puss in Boots.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's incredible. I don't know the guy's name. I just know the cat's name is Mia. But that's my big plan for Skunk /monkey/frog.
Is to make him an adventure cat.
Oh, yeah. I've already started clicker training him.
Okay.
Pointing at stuff.
Yes.
If I point my finger, he'll come and touch my finger. That's
the
first step, according to this man.
That's good. Training your pet, I think, is the most important thing you can do.
If you don't do that, I don't think it counts as a pet.
Yeah,
that's a feral animal you live with.
I mean, there are some people who try and train their animals, but they do a bad job, which I think is like what I dislike about pets, is that there's no
people.
Yeah, is that the pets are only as good as the people that own them.
Correct.
In a way, and there are a lot of times where people will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get this dog or this cat," and then they just don't train it well, or they're like attempt to train it and then they're like, oh, it's hard to train a dog. Like, I didn't realize it took so much time. And it's like,
I'm tired.
Yes.
It's just like I'm like tired from work. Yeah. You shouldn't have bought the dog.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
The exotic ape you brought home.
Yes.
The bonobo.
Yeah. Don't buy the fucking, Tibetan blowjob lizard if you're not going to actively train it.
Listen, those suckers don't just come off the assembly line sucking hogs. You got to train them to. First, you got to remove their teeth. Then you have to sort of somewhat forcibly teach them to suck your dick.
No. We are not going in. No. This episode has already teetered on the edge several times. And look who came in to stop.
Oh,
who stop us from going over the edge is none other than my pet chef, who heard us cackling and has now barged in the room to lick my feet. Yeah, that's a good boy. Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
yes,
that's disgusting behavior.
Yes, good doggy.
He's licking.
He's licking my feet. He loves to lick feet. And that's as much as I'll tell you about him right now, because I know hearing about other people's pets is boring. But to give you a little bit of a visual aid, he is a cardigan corgi. He's 38 pounds, and he just laid down on my feet because he loves me.
If you imagine a panda bear, but it's got a dog head.
Yeah.
And it's long. It's not fat. It's long. That's kind of almost exactly what he looks like.
Yes, it is.
Well, I guess he doesn't have. Pandas have like. Don't they? Pandas have like.
Yeah.
Like circles around their eyes.
He doesn't have those, but he's colored like a panda. Yes, the training, people are really bad at training their animals or just like train it for like a week or two. And it's like, you don't have to train the thing its a whole life.
Inexcusable.
But yeah, you do have to train it like pretty regularly and often for the first few years. And then like you have to keep it up and keep a schedule. And like, especially with dogs need like structure, you know, and they want to be trained and they want to be put to work.
Yes.
And have little jobs.
I think the same is true of people. Children, for sure.
Yes. They want to have little
structure.
jobs.
They like little jobs, a.k.a. Homework.
Homework, putting together phones.
Assembling
IKEA. Anything, going to the factory, putting together, you know.
Assembling phones is one
working with gears, working with small gears. Children desire to work.
I'd say threads. They enjoy.
Children want to sew.
Everybody talks about the children yearn for the mines.
Yeah,
the children. Let me tell you, what the children want to do is sew. Just leave them alone. Let them sew.
Yeah, let them slow.
Let them slow. Let them sew slow.
But yeah, I mean, you know, you need to train your animal so that it can go out in society and be fine at a brewery or
right, that's the main point of getting an animal is to be able to take it out to the brewery.
Yes.
That's where you go to the brewery, it's pets on display.
Yes. 100%.
Children, I think last time maybe we talked about children at breweries.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you sound drunk when you're trying to say that word. Brewery.
Yeah, brewery.
Yeah.
It's engineered that way.
To make us look like fools.
Yeah.
My God.
And they say, buddy, I got to cut you off.
I see. So that way they can keep their beer for themselves. They don't have to sell it all.
They don't want to sell their beer.
Right.
They say brewery. If you say brewery, it sounds like you're drunk and we're going to cut you off.
We don't believe in over-serving. At this bar, at this establishment, we're one of the few that doesn't believe in over-serving. You want to get over-served, go down the road to Zebulon.
Yes.
Go check out
what is it? BJ's, that like chain. Or Rock Bottom, that's another one I've seen.
Oh, Rock Bottom. Zebulon probably doesn't. I think they're probably pretty good about it. No, I just thought of them. Anyways, yeah, you're taking your pet out in public. And even if you're not, cruel to have your pet be a shut-in.
Yes.
Fully fucked up. As soon as I got this, guy, he found him. He was outside. He was maybe not loving being outside, but brought him into the house. And very early thought, this is insane to keep him inside for the rest of his life. He just doesn't get to leave these 3 rooms he's in. Excuse me.
Yes, sorry, I was blowing my nose.
No, I heard it. We all heard it.
He's only in these 3 rooms.
That's fucked.
Well, Griffin, I think the one thing that you have to realize is sometimes animals, that's fine for them.
Yeah, but I see him looking out the window. Once he found out about the window, he's looking out there. He's thinking about it.
Well, yeah, he's a cat. But you can't let cats run around outside.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Well, you can, but it's really bad for the environment.
Is it because they're shitting everywhere? Is that a big thing?
No, it's because they kill local birds.
Really?
Yeah, that's a notorious... It's like
they kill local birds.
A thing that has come up a lot more recently that they're like, if you have an outdoor cat, like...
You want them
fine, but like ideally you don't want your cat just roaming around outside for hours upon hours a day because they kill the local birds. But
you would be more okay if they were killing the immigrant birds.
Jesus. Well, invasive species, yeah. I mean, if they kill invasive species.
Invasive species. Listen to him, dear leader. Dear leader. Dear leader.
Oh, we found a new listener, our dear leader.
Dear leader.
But yeah, it is bad to have your cat like roam around. I'm not gonna like morally judge if you're listening to this and you have a cat that runs outdoors. Like, I don't care that much. It's just like what they say: if you get a new cat, just like have it be an indoor cat.
Can he be an indoor cat, but then also go outside with me?
Yeah, I think
it's fine. Put him on a leash.
Yeah, if you want to take your cat on a walk, that's great. I don't think that cats. I don't know if they're into that sort of thing, but
we'll see. He's scared of me every other time he sees me.
Huh.
If I walk into the room and he's already established he's doing something in the room, or if I just return to a room I was just in, he'll see me and sprint away. And sometimes it seems like he's playing, and other times it seems like he's legitimately terrified
Yeah.
But then I'll, wake up and he's like in the corner of the bed.
Yeah.
So it's quite strange messaging we're getting from cats, and this is why I haven't liked them for so long.
Well, he's still new in your house.
But they're not consistent. They're quite hard to understand what's going on, to me at least.
Well, and I feel like he'll be like that for the first few weeks.
From what I've heard,
a month or two.
Emma was telling me, friend Emma, you might recall earlier,
Yes.
from earlier, dear reader, this one's for you. You get to remember Emma. So don't say we never did anything for you. She said that, usually they're like hiding under the bed for like a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that lots of our listeners and readers and leaders here who own cats will, be listening to this and remembering their own adoption or pet acquisition stories when they brought home their kitty.
I just realized that wasn't Emma who said that. That was the woman I've been dating who said that. I'm fucked. I'm hosed.
Dude, now you're, as the kids say, down bad.
Now I'm down bad.
Bro is down bad.
I'm cooked.
Bro is
They're saying cooked. I was with a Gen Z, Gen Alpha? Gen Z. He was somewhere in between the two, maybe.
Gen Alpha is like Skibbity.
Oh,
toilet.
right. Okay, he was Gen Z. And we found we were shooting some short film and found out that Biden was bowing out from the race. Just to timestamp this, that happened a month ago.
Yeah.
And he just said, "Oh, bro, we're cooked." And I couldn't tell if that was good or bad, because I thought it was good that Biden was bowing out. But he said it in a way that seemed like it was bad.
To be cooked is bad, but to be cooking is good.
Okay.
If it was like, let him cook.
Right, let him cook.
Let him cook from Breaking Bad.
Gotcha.
And probably just many other things.
Don't know how we got off on cooking. That's for a different podcast, Tom.
Yeah.
A thing I like about pets, cats.
Yes.
Though they're strange that I don't get them, they're better than awkward alt comedy guys.
Yes.
They're better to hang out with than a group of dudes who, once the laughter dries up, don't know what to do other than to just stare at you.
Yeah.
Or
go
away.
Yeah, go have a cigarette.
Go have a cigarette.
And talk about how the bit you did wasn't that funny.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't do that. So I like that about pets.
Yeah, I think that's a good point is people, we love pets because they're better than a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so therefore we don't deserve them. We say often we don't deserve pets, we don't deserve dogs, we don't deserve cats.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah. We don't deserve them because they're so loyal and beautiful and they love us unconditionally.
Right.
Unlike a lot of people who are ugly and mean.
Ugly mean rude, smelly.
And rude, and they smell, and they love us conditionally based on the way our bodies look and how much money we have.
Sure.
And, how we make their food.
And the thoughts and beliefs we contain.
Yeah, and whether we believe in the same religions or not.
Too many
Whether we live in
rules.
the same country.
Whether or not we live in the same house.
Whether we speak the same language.
Right, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, it's a big thing for Griffin, as you guys can hear. But yeah, they love us unconditionally.
And I think this is the pet cynic. Previous pet cynic speaking. But they would say it's conditional. It's because you're feeding them.
Yeah, it's because you're feeding them, but
and you're petting them. I guess they like that too.
Yeah, but I mean, after a certain point, if you stopped feeding your pet would
die.
It would still like you.
Oh. And this is, I think, this is cold. I think this is the cold reality is let's say Chef runs away. Let's say this cat I found was somebody else's. He did have a weird, fucked up sort of makeshift collar on him.
Yeah.
Couldn't find whoever owned him. He's now imprinted. He's liking me.
Yeah.
He's digging my life. He was previously liking somebody else.
Yes.
If I lost him, if he gets out, he slips through the front door and somebody else finds him, I think he could be perfectly happy with him and not really ever...
Do I think animals are just like whoever is around?
Yeah, or is it I guess there's those stories of dog separated from owner for 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I think your dog will remember you if you treat it really well and it somehow gets separated. Of course, it's also going to like another person who treats it nicely.
Sure.
That's, why he loves it even when we go away on vacation and we take him to the doggy daycare place or find a friend or pay someone to take care of them. He loves them.
And maybe we should be Oh, go on. Sorry.
Because they take care of them, they treat them nice, they give them more treats than we do, they love them in different ways, and they let them sleep in cool places that we don't necessarily let them sleep.
Right.
So he likes them, but then when he comes back, he's like, "Oh, I'm home."
Okay.
And I think all pets will
That's
do
right.
that.
That's a good point.
They like the way the house smells. They have their own little. They like the routine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they like just being around you. They like the way you smell. They like the way you play with them.
That's good.
And then there's some dogs which are like, there's some breeds of dogs, and I think some animals which are just like, they like one person.
Were you?
And that's it.
Yes. And they defend them to their death.
Yeah.
Were you at any point like, as a kid, were you like I'm sure everybody has like a puppy phase. Did you have like a puppy book or like a dog book where you're like looking at every breed of dog? Did you have pets growing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. I was obsessed with lizards growing up, and
Checks
I had
out.
some anoles.
Sure. What's that?
Which
How do
are
you spell it?
small Anole. Anoles. They're
Anole.
like really common lizards, especially in like the southeast.
Okay.
And they're maybe like 3-4 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty cheap, pretty easy to take care of.
Never heard of them.
But they're really cool, and they make great pets for like kids, and they're just like basic. It's just like the goldfish of lizards.
The gold. That's great branding.
Yeah.
You can tell that Tom's in marketing because he's so good at branding.
Yeah, anoles, the goldfish of lizards. Yeah.
Now,
So
if that's not merch hitting the store soon, it better be.
Yeah, I owned a few anoles, and then when I was older, my parents were like, "Okay, we're gonna get a dog," and so we got a dog, and his name was Butler, and he was a Clumber Spaniel, which was like a
Sounds made up.
yeah, it's kind of like a Clumber,
Sounds like I said it.
CLUMBER, and it was a white. He was like pretty much all white dog. He kind of had like brown orange like coloring.
Sure.
And snout. He was like a hound looking dog.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
But he was really sweet. I love him. I loved him a lot. He really liked my mom. He kind of gravitated towards my mom because she did the most caretaking of him. But like he liked me and my sister and my dad fine. And you know, was a good dog. He was a little aloof and, you know, didn't love other people, but like he wasn't dangerous. He would just run away if he got scared of people.
And he was the only pet you had for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we had fish.
Oh.
My mom had like freshwater fish, and those were really cool. Had like an angel fish and a bunch of like those sucker fish, the ones that like suck on the glass. That's what kind of got me interested in the Tibetan blowjob lizards.
Right.
Because I saw the suckers on those things. And
They walk so the blowjob lizard could fly.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the common saying.
Yeah.
X walked so that Y could fly.
Yeah. And, you know, there have been some reports of the Tibetan blowjob lizard flying in some instances from tree to tree.
Oh, yes. I believe in northern Russia when it gets cold.
I didn't know their range was that large. They go all the way from Tibet to northern Russia.
Yep. All east to west, but just north. There's the north of Russia.
Okay.
It kind of they skip over the middle part of Russia. Actually,
yeah. Okay, that's good. You're the expert. You know.
I was trying to think of somewhere outside of Asia because I feel like the only place we've talked about is Asia and Asian countries today.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's an interesting place.
Then I landed on just another Asian country.
Yeah. Russia's in Asia for sure.
Yeah, too cold for the lizard, actually. TBH.
Yeah. But yeah, I had fish. I had anoles. I had a dog. I like got close. I got obsessed with having a bearded dragon because I love lizards so much. And my parents were kind of like, oh, okay, maybe. And I got really close. And then I think like they were grateful because I just kind of forgot about it. And then like got a little older and lost interest. And they were just like, thank God we didn't buy this complex. What would it be?
This complex lizard.
Yeah, complex lizard to take care of. I mean, they're not like that hard to take care of, but they are like, okay, this is like a next step up, a couple steps up from the anole. And they're expensive and... they live, I think, for a long time.
That's tough, yeah.
Because like it's like when we went to the reptile convention,
right?
And those families would walk out with like a snake that they just like impulsively
purchased.
bought for their child, who's like I want this. And it's like, okay, well, now you have a pet for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I feel like your parents saw that and they were like, what? Okay, you're going to take it to college? What's the plan here?
yeah.
No.
Yeah, my parents
That's
are
wise.
too practical.
That's good.
And they kind of instilled that in me. And so they were like, yeah, anoles, they die in like 3 years, if that. You know?
Did you ever have sea monkeys?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, what pets did you have?
I feel like everybody had sea monkeys at some point. You get a bag of them, you put them in water, they turn on.
Yeah, they turn on.
They're like some kind of tiny shrimp or something.
Yeah.
They're always dying. I think my brother had some sea monkeys, and then I
Yeah.
think was maybe sad when they died. Or maybe he didn't feel anything about it. I don't really remember. Yeah, my mom had a dog when I was, like when my mom and dad met, and so I was born into a dog, Marley. Beautiful, sweet mutt. Then one Christmas, we were, I don't know how many years after Marley had died, we got a puppy. We got a golden retriever for Christmas, and it was absolutely the best Christmas anybody ever remembered or had in my family. We were going nuts, running around in the yard. I think it snowed that Christmas too. So that was awesome. Had Honey for a long time. She was a runt, and she seemed to be littered with tumors.
Oh, damn.
And she didn't get that old. I don't know, maybe she lived to 12. And then my sister got a dog when everybody else had moved out of the house, and she was the only one of us still there. And so, my mom and dad still lived there. But they got her a tiny dog named Zizi that my brother and I called Grapes for a long time. And then Grapes died, lived with my mom, and then died. And then now, Mom didn't have a pet. Dad didn't have a pet. I really would want my dad to get an animal. He's got to get like a basset hound. I think he would love to have a dog.
Yeah, I do.
I think my dad is the classic. No, we can't have a pet, and then gets the pet and like won't let it leave his side. I don't know why I guess because it would be a massive change to lifestyle.
Yeah,
you got to be home all the time.
Yeah,
with
if you're
dogs.
like a single guy and all your kids are grown and out of the house, and you're like, I've got my freedom, baby.
Right.
And he probably likes having that freedom.
Yeah, I guess so. Run around, go outside, go on trips.
Yeah.
That's a negative.
That's another
pets.
thing I don't like about pets is that they can't. It's not easy to take them like on all the cool trips that you go, and they don't like going on those trips. So you got to pay a lot of money for people to take care of them.
Oh yeah, and it's expansive.
Yeah, pets are in general very expensive. Vet bills too expensive. I'd say taking like I think that overall when you pay someone to take care of your pet, it does become expensive. But like when someone's like, hey, pay me, however many bucks a night, I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of work to take care of another person's pet, and like you deserve that money. I have no issue with like that. It's just that like if you're going like 2 weeks, 1.5, 2 weeks, you're like, damn, I racked up like $800.
I have a very sad story.
Okay, do you think that our
it's relevant? Okay. I don't know. I think we got to share. Okay, we got to share not just the funny.
Story, yeah.
We can't just only talk about the Tibetan blowjob lizard.
Yeah. And
the beautiful animals that are still with us. We have to talk about how well. So here's the thing. So we had this dog Marley, as previously mentioned, and you might remember, dear reader, you get to remember about Marley and my friend Emma, and that's just for you, reader. But Marley was sitting under a car, and our family friend was over, and he was leaving, and he backed over her and like broke her hip, or she was old already as well, or broke her leg or something, fucked her up, and we were gone. The kids were all out of town, and we come home, and our parents have to tell us Marley died. We had to put her down. It was really hard, and we're all crying. This begins us being obsessed with dogs to cover the wound. Mm-hmm. Then I don't know. Let's say 5, 6, 7 years later, I think I might have. No. I think I was a freshman or sophomore in maybe college, and I was staying at family friend's house who had sort of inadvertently killed our dog. And they had a new dog named Sugarfoot. I was dog sitting for them. Day one, I take the dog outside to go throw the Frisbee. I throw the Frisbee to the park, which they've said, yeah, go do that. She loves this kind of stuff. She needs exercise. I throw the Frisbee maybe 3, 4 times, and the dog starts acting like it has been stung by bees, like it's getting swarmed by bees. And I don't know what's going on. And she starts having like a weird time walking. He's like doing this crazy limp. I'm freaking out. Realize there are no bees. Something insane is happening to the dog. I don't know what it is. pick her up and start like carrying her back to the house. And she's so heavy. And there's people passing me. And I'm like, how, in my head, I'm like, please God, somebody stop. But I can't I've got a, I don't know, heavy fucking dog. And oh my God, I was just freaking out, like trying to get it back, and got it into my car. It's like, evacuating its bowels as I'm carrying it, and in the car, I get it to the vet. They put her on in an ice bath immediately, and then come out and have to tell me she was having a heat stroke. She and explained whatever heat stroke means to me, which is something about the brain gets confused about the body's temperature. It loses its ability to actually regulate it. Yeah. So then it starts kind of cranking its heat up, and the brain's temperature overheats. And then it's just various, I think this is what I remember from him telling me, body function starts shutting down. And he was like, we put her in an ice bath, but it was just too late. We just couldn't cool her down fast enough. And she cooked her brain cooked itself. And I had to call them day one of their vacation. They wrote me a check for the whole, I was $300 and left it with me. And I had to go home to my house and tell my parents, and I don't know what to do. And you have to call right now and you got to tell them. And it was so fucked to have to call them and say, hey, I think I just came out and said Sugarfoot died. Something really bad happened. Sugarfoot died, and then had to explain it. And obviously he was so sad, but was also he was like, but go on and cash the check. You can keep the money. I was like,
that's the kind of insane thing that you say when you're when you're going through grief. Yeah,
it was, I mean, I felt so bad, but then it was also he also I think every time I see him, this comes up, but has said that it wasn't your fault. You couldn't have. He said it was your fault.
It was your fault. You turned the temperature up outside.
He said, "Merry Christmas. It was your fault. The dog died 20 years ago. Here's a $50 gift card to Starbucks. You killed our dog.
I'm going to continue paying you because you killed our dog, and money means nothing to me."
No, he said, it clearly wasn't your fault. Something happened to another dog in the same litter.
Oh, litter? Whoa.
I think they were just very inbred and very prone to, I don't know.
They bred the body temperature too high.
They bred, that's something you'll find they haven't done in the Tibetan blowjob lizard. If anything, a little too low to enjoy a good blowjob.
Yeah, they're cold-blooded.
So you got to heat them up a little bit before they get to... Sorry. Yeah, that was fucked. And then it was the joke has for sure been made of well, it was payback because I killed your dog, you killed my dog.
Yeah. Or you killed my dog. Oh, yeah. He said, he was saying it was payback. Yeah, I killed your dog, you killed my dog.
Yeah, it's sort of a grim situation.
Yeah.
Very sad.
That is really sad. Was it hot out when you took her to the park?
It was, I don't know. It was Tennessee summertime. It wasn't heat warm. There was nothing about it that I would have
probably 80 something degrees, a little humid.
Might have been 100. I have no idea. It was summer. I had no clue.
Well, if you take a dog out at 100 degrees
and throw the thing for
it's a little
three
hot.
times,
Yeah,
4
it's
times.
A little hot.
I have no idea.
3 or 4 times is absurd.
That's absurd. It was immediately oh my God.
I'm not saying it's your fault. I was just curious because I was it has
to
be pretty hot. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I would have been pretty scarred as a kid.
I would say that's one of the worst things that can happen about pets is that they can die.
Yeah, I agree. And then you have to do crazy stuff with their body. I remember when my dog died, my parents, I was away at college. They were just they put him to sleep. And then I guess, I guess I had heard of people burying the dogs, but then I was oh yeah, when you're an adult and a dog and your pet dies, you have to do something with the body. And then it's we cremated our dog, which was kind of crazy. My parents were yeah, we'll just have him cremated.
Wow.
And so they had him cremated, and then we took his ashes to the beach, which he loved to go to the beach, and we threw his ashes on the beach.
Whoa.
And that was really nice. They saved his ashes till we came home from college, and then one night they were or one evening they were it's going to be a beautiful evening. Let's go spread Butler's ashes at the beach, and we did that, and it was beautiful. Yeah, and then I was oh, it's crazy that they had to haul my dead dog's 60-pound body, and then you're just yeah, now I have a dead dog in the trunk of my car.
To take it to the
to
crematorium?
take it to the crematorium.
They don't just do that at the vet?
Well,
wait, what
maybe they
happened? How
do
did
it
the
at
dog die?
vet. They euthanized him.
Okay,
He got really old and he couldn't move around as good, and I think he started going to the bathroom in the house again, and like they just were like, it's time for him to go. Yeah,
I guess the vet doesn't have their own on-site crematorium. You got to take him somewhere
and
else.
I think the vet will take him to the, but you know, inevitably, like you have to be like, okay, yeah, I've got a dead dog with me, either burying it or doing something, or like, you know, I remember having to like, just throw my lizards in the trash. I think when I was young enough and I was like, my parents were like, oh, you should bury them. So we put them in a box and, buried them under the ground. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever buried a pet other than I can really think of. We never, no cremation of the animals, no remains to deal with that I've ever been aware of. I did have in middle school a hamster. I was obsessed with hamsters at some point.
Yeah.
Gerbil hamster. Had a hamster named Hobbs of Calvin and Hobbes fame. Mm-hmm. And I guess I like left the top off and he like ran away and I got probably got eaten by a bird or something. And I got so sad. And then a neighbor kid was like, oh, well, our hamster just had babies. Got that one as like, I guess I should get another one because I'm so sad about this one. That one, I came downstairs. They lived in the garage. Uh-huh. Came downstairs one day, just dead, upside down, covered in water. Seemed like it drowned itself. Don't really know what happened with that one.
Because it was depressed.
Maybe depressed. And I'll say, I felt nothing. I felt, I was, what's the right word?
Apathetic.
I was depleted.
Yeah.
I was so sad from Hobbs dying.
Oh.
But that one I probably buried. Other than that, no, I hadn't had to deal with it.
I think that's the flip side of it is they're great. Pets are a great way to teach young kids about death.
Right.
And
something
get them
that children
used to
need
it.
There's not that many opportunities in life to hear or learn about death. So you got to get a pet to do that, get that going.
When I was cleaning out, we were like moving in the middle of high school and we were like cleaning out my house and we found like all these old children's books that my mom had like gotten for us, and like so many of them were like a funeral for Skittles or whatever, and it was like about like a cat, like pets dying, and then they'd be all these like really intense subjects that my mom was just like really focused on being like, I want to make sure my kids are prepared for these. And then there'd also be these like books that were like the Titanic and like Mount Vesuvius and like all these like natural, or Pompeii. Pompeii was the other one.
You really are your mother's son.
Yeah, all these books that are just like, oh, disaster and death. And I was like, why is my mom so fixated on this? But yeah, I guess it did prepare me for having fish and lizards. You know, those things die all the time. And I was sad, but I was like, okay, a fish died. I'll go flush it down the toilet and maybe we'll go to the store in like a few months and get a replacement.
You sure? I don't, now that I'm thinking, what's the point of this idea of teaching kids about death? That's what they get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't help me at all. I mean, I've had, known people who have died and then, maybe would I have been surprised? Like, what? You know what death is when you're a kid? You get the concept.
I don't know, but like having something that you like die and then it dying and realize like, oh yeah, it's not coming back.
Sure.
And like I have to go on with my life and my life is different, but like, I still remember this thing. Like you as a kid, you know what death is. It's like, yes, at some point things stop living.
Sure.
And they don't come back. But until you have that happen with like a human or like an animal that you love, like it doesn't really,
I guess,
sink in.
I just don't really. I had a great grandfather who died when I was, I was like old enough to like. I remember, that he, I don't remember going to his funeral or anything, but I remember him dying, and like being like, I had that experience with a person before I had it with an animal. The idea like I'm going to get the kid's going to learn about death in 13 years when they're in college. What are you talking about? They get it
for like a dog or a cat.
Yeah, or you're talking about like for like small throwaway trash.
About like hamsters.
We'll call them trash pets.
Trash pets. Okay.
You're talking about
a trash pet like an anole or a fish.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
or
right.
a hamster.
Or a hamster.
Yeah, that's why you get kids pets like that.
You
is
get them
because-
trash pets so they learn.
So they take care of them, and then eventually they die.
And if you don't do that, what's the difference is my question.
If you don't do that, then your kid's just kind of like, number one, your kid's annoying because they always want a pet.
Sure.
They're always asking you for a pet. Number two, your kid, doesn't have a lot of, they're not as good at responsibility because you got to take care of a pet.
Right.
It teaches you responsibility. Number
the
three,
ultimate consequence.
when something dies, maybe your kid's more surprised, doesn't understand, has a harder time coping with death because they don't understand that it's a natural part of life.
Yeah. I don't know if I buy that. I think it's hard to deal with no matter what, even if you had a pet.
Yeah.
I think it's just to me right now, this just seems like a thing people say. Teach them about death. What? Shut up. They're going to figure it. You'll learn. It's unavoidable. Not a funny take. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I still think.
What's the rush? Why do we need to teach them about it so quick? What's the big?
I don't think there's like a rush. Like, I got to teach my kid about death as fast as possible. I got to really get them prepped because they're going to experience a lot of death. I just think it's being like, hey, you need to have a real life experience of seeing that, like, there's chaos to life. Things just die, and like mommy and daddy don't have any control over it.
I think it's less it's not the central feature of, you're not getting pets so that your kids can learn about death.
No,
it just happened.
You get pets so your kids can be responsible and learn how to care for things and enjoy
just enjoying
them.
The animal.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you don't just get I bet if you get a pet for pure enjoyment, then like you take care of the pet. If you get a pet for your kid just so your kid enjoys it, then they don't learn anything.
Maybe.
And you want your kid to learn something.
And what about this? Whoa, I just got way louder. Children, the ultimate pet.
yeah, children, the ultimate pet.
At what point do you think a child quits being a pet? 18? 17 in some states?
Yeah, 17 in some states. I think
before that. I'd say around 2.5, 3 years old.
You think at 2.5, 3? Yeah.
They go from pet to person.
Yeah, I think they go from pet to person. Yeah, pretty fast.
They grow up so quick. That's why they say they grow up so quick.
Yeah.
Because you felt like they were a pet for the first 2 or 3 years, and then now that feels like it's a person.
Yeah. Maybe we should write a book called "From Pet to Person: Raising Your First Child" by the Penis Boys.
By two childless men.
Okay, we got to end it because we got tickets to see Alien Romulus and IMAX.
And it ain't getting any more okay, bye.
Goober Time is produced by me, Griffin, and Lauren Talmadge. Executive produced by Tim McGower. Associate producer Ahmed Stork, and aspiring producer Little Jimmy Penn. Goober Time is engineered by Roger Goodrich and recorded at Detweiler Sound in Humboldt, Tupelo, Mississippi. Sound mixing by Reed Armband with music by Laser Monster, which is Griffin in the past. You can check it out at lasermonster.bandcamp.com. Tom's costume was provided by Padma Lakshmi with catering provided by Kokomo's Mungo Lounge. Kokomo's, if you can't take her here, you can't take her anywhere.